My dad kicked me out at 16, but karma hit him hard years later. My dad kicked me out on my 16th birthday because I refused to give him my McDonald's paycheck to buy beer. He said if I wanted to act like an adult and keep my own money, I could live like one too. 10 years later, he showed up at my door, homeless and sick, begging for help from the son he'd thrown away. The karma was perfect, but what happened next shocked everyone, including me. Dad had been a mean drunk my whole life. My mom left when I was 8, unable to take his abuse anymore. She wanted to take me, but Dad threatened to destroy her in court. He had connections. She had nothing. So I stayed and became his personal ATM and punching bag. When I got a job at McDonald's at 15, Dad decided my paychecks were his drinking money. I went along with it for months until my 16th birthday. I'd saved secretly to buy a used laptop for school. When he demanded my paycheck, I refused. He threw my belongings on the lawn and changed the locks while I was at school. I slept in the park for a week before my manager, Janet, noticed. She let me sleep in the McDonald's break room and shower in the mornings before opening. She became more of a parent than my dad ever was. I finished high school living between the break room and friends' couches. Despite everything, I graduated valedictorian, got a full scholarship to State University, worked 3 jobs to cover what scholarships didn't, graduated with a computer science degree, and landed a job at a tech startup that exploded. By 26, I was making 6 figures and had just bought my first house. That's when Dad appeared at my door. I didn't recognize him at first. He'd aged 20 years in 10. Liver disease had turned his skin yellow. He'd lost the house to gambling debts, burned every bridge with his drinking, and been living in his car until it was repossessed. Son, he said, not even attempting an apology. I need help, just for a few weeks until I get back on my feet. My fiancée, Sarah, stood behind me, knowing my whole history. She squeezed my hand, letting me know she'd support whatever I decided. Every part of me wanted to slam the door, to let him feel what I'd felt at 16, to tell him karma had finally come calling. Instead, I heard myself say, "You can stay in the guest room." Sarah was shocked. My friends thought I was insane. My therapist warned about reopening wounds, but I had one condition. He had to get sober. Real sobriety, with meetings, sponsors, and accountability. One drink, and he was out forever. Dad lasted 3 days before I found him with a bottle. I kicked him out. He called me heartless, said I was just like my mother, abandoning family. But something in his eyes was different. Actual shame, maybe for the first time. He lived in a shelter for 2 months. Then he called, not asking for money or housing, just to tell me he'd been sober for 30 days, had a sponsor, was working the program. I hung up without responding. He called every month with updates. 60 days sober, 90 days. Got a job washing dishes, found a small apartment, 6 months sober. I never responded, but I never blocked his number either. At 1 year sober, he sent a letter, a real apology. Not excuses or justifications, but actual acknowledgement of what he'd done. How throwing out his 16-year-old son was unforgivable. How he'd stolen my childhood. How he didn't expect forgiveness, but wanted me to know he remembered every terrible thing and was sorry. I invited him to my wedding, not to walk me down the aisle or play father of the groom, just to sit in the back and witness the life I'd built without him. He came, stayed sober, and left without making it about himself. He's been sober 4 years now. We're not close. We never will be. But once a month, we have coffee. He doesn't ask for anything. I don't offer. We talk about safe topics like sports and weather. He's met his grandchildren but isn't grandpa. He's just Robert. The karma wasn't him becoming homeless. That was just consequences. The real karma was him getting sober and realizing everything he'd lost, having to live with that clarity every day, having to see the life I built from nothing while he destroyed everything he had. My dad kicked me out at 16, thinking he was punishing me. Instead, he freed me and imprisoned himself. Now he has to watch from the sidelines as the son he threw away lives the life he could have shared, if only he'd chosen love over liquor.